evictions, moratorium now. Stop the foreclosures, stop the 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 evictions, moratorium now.
Stop the foreclosures, stop the evictions, moratorium now.
Billions for the banks, nothing for the people.
First of all, on behalf of the Network to Stop Foreclosures and Evictions, we'd like to welcome everybody today to today's very brief picket line and protest. We're basically out here to implore Sheriff Anderson to have a heart, and to extend the holiday moratorium on foreclosures and evictions to the winter and beyond the winter, as long as there is an emergency crisis for working and poor people in this state. We're angry and we're fed up. If they can bail out the banks, they can spend billions of dollars to bail out the banks, then they need to do and they must do something for people right here in Baltimore City and in the state. We also think that there are a number of precedents that have been set. There have been precedents set all across the country. In Cook County, Illinois, the sheriff has declared that he will no longer do the bidding of the banks and put people out in the streets and foreclose them. In Philadelphia, the sheriff there also followed suit. We know that every holiday period, that from Manhattan to here in Baltimore, that sheriffs have declared a 2-week holiday moratorium, which shows you that if they can halt the foreclosures and evictions for 2 weeks, then they can halt them for 2 months, they can halt them for 2 years, that it's possible to have a moratorium. So today we're going to be presenting a letter to Sheriff John Anderson's office. This is only the part of a campaign that we're waging to make Baltimore City a foreclosures and evictions-free zone. That this city will declare, no longer will we tolerate foreclosures and evictions, no longer will we carry out the orders of the big banks and the real estate companies and the mortgage companies here in Baltimore. So this is the beginning of something very big. We're not just going to the sheriff. We want to let him know that the city council, that the state legislators, that the people in this city would back up such an action. That this is not the only action that we need relief on utility shutoffs, that we need relief in terms of extending unemployment benefits and joblessness, and that we need to make this a state where the budget cuts do not happen here. We have a number of people representing different groups here who are going to make some statements. We also want to urge everyone to join the network. We are a national network, but we are also a local network of grassroots groups of individual people that can get in touch with us by calling 410-218-4835. We want people in this city to band together. We cannot let our neighbors, our friends, our sisters, our brothers, our loved ones be put out in the street. We will do what they did in the 30s. We will do what they're doing in Detroit, Los Angeles, and Miami, Florida. That is, when the sheriffs come to foreclose people, we will put the furniture back. We will stand in the schoolhouse door. We will go to the big banks. We will sit in. We will take the example of what the Republic Windows and Doors workers did when they occupied that factory and won their benefits. It takes innovative and new ideas because we are in a period of tremendous hardship and crisis. And we know that the city and state, under laws already that mandate them to act in emergency, can do just that, and that is declare a moratorium. Thank you, everyone. The first person who will say something at our press conference today is Andre Powell. He is a delegate to the Baltimore City Labor Council. He is with AFSCME, the union that represents state, county, and municipal employees. He has a lot of experience dealing with people in the Baltimore City that have been experiencing the foreclosures and evictions.
Woo! Yeah!
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. I'm a delegate with the Central Labor Council for the Metro Baltimore AFL-CIO. I serve as a delegate there because of my job with the state of Maryland and the Department of Social Services. We have to deal with people that come into our office. We do get clients that are facing foreclosures and evictions. We do what we can to assist them, but the biggest assist for them would be for a 2-year moratorium on all foreclosures and evictions due to foreclosures. This crisis is a crisis of the banking system. It is not a crisis of people that get up and go to work every day so that they can pay their mortgage. As a labor union, we stand for what benefits working people, and we join the call for a demand for a 2-year moratorium on foreclosures and evictions. We stand united together. The union movement says, bail out the people, not the banks. Many of our members work every day to pay their mortgages, to pay their gas and electric. With this economic crisis, the cost of everything is going up. When a worker has worked day after day, year after year to keep their home, the banks have no right, the mortgage companies have no right to come in and steal that home away from them, because that is what it is, sister brothers. It's stealing the home away from the workers. So the union movement stands with the national network to demand a stop to the foreclosures and evictions. Thank you.
I'm Leo Burroughs Jr. I'm the chairperson of the Maryland Coalition to Stop the BG&E rate hike, and we're here in solidarity with our fellow activists today to say, hell no, we're not going to put up with bailing out banks and putting people out of their homes. We've got to make the American Revolution work. Second time, third time, fourth time, we've got to bring about a revolutionary change in this city, in this state, in this nation. And of course, we've got to make justice happen. And so when you put people out of their homes, you foreclose on them, you're doing wrong in the climate in which we exist. Got a man up in New York. How much did he steal? $50 billion. And he's on house arrest. In a $7 million home. So what I want to say to all of you is keep the faith, stay the course, and let's keep fighting and recruiting. We've got to get more people on board who are going to do what we're doing and who are unafraid to stand up for justice and who are unafraid to stand up for America. Yes, we want the Sheriff Anderson to do the right thing. But in addition to Sheriff Anderson, we want our legislators, our city council, our governor, our state, our Congress people, Elijah Cummings, Barbara Mikulski, Ben Cardin, all these people who are silent, we want those folks to stand up and stop foreclosures. Stop the ripoff on working people, middle class, poor people in this country. Let's bring justice to America. We're fighting all over the world to save everybody but ourselves. We need to save our own country. We need to save the people in our cities. Let's stop foreclosures and stop them now. Praise God. Let's keep fighting.
Yeah!
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen C.C. I'm with the Bail Out the People's Not the Bank campaign movement, and I'm here in solidarity with all the other activists here who are asking Sheriff John Anderson, asking our elected officials, like Leo Burroughs said, this is not something new, this is not something revolutionary, this is actually something that other sheriffs around the country have taken the courageous stand of deciding that they will stand with the people instead of the banks. Where the sheriff of Cooks County said, no, I will not evict people for greedy banks. Where the sheriff of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania said, no, I will not evict people on the behalf of these banks. So we're asking Sheriff John Anderson, in the spirit of the holidays, and we know that there's a 2-week moratorium, but that just goes to show if they can do 2 weeks, why can't they do a winter moratorium? And if they can do a winter moratorium, why can't they do 6 months to a year? So what we're here saying is that if they can bail out the banks for hundreds of billions of dollars, then why can't poor and working people get some relief? Where are our leaders, our so-called leaders today? Why aren't they out here? Why aren't they demanding that there be a moratorium? This is not something that is new. They did it in the 30s. The governors around the country enacted emergency measures to stop foreclosures and evictions. We also need a moratorium on utility shutoffs. We also need a freeze on layoffs. We need an emergency package of emergency demands for poor and working people, because we're going through a crisis, and where our crisis is where we get kicked out in the street, and their crisis is that they can't go to their $1 million villa resorts anymore. Our crisis is real. And so we're out here asking, demanding, with our elected officials. This is not just about the sheriff. This is about the governor. This is about the Congress people. This is about the banks. This is just one tactic of many. So Sheriff John Anderson, we will stand behind you. The people will stand behind you if you come out and say that you are for a moratorium and that you will not do the bidding of the banks, but you will stand in solidarity with the people, and the people will stand in solidarity with you. Thank you.
Say your name.
I'm Christopher Reichel, and I'm with Bail Out the People movement. Oh, Mike, are you grabbing my arm? Oh, okay. Well, my fingers are sort of frozen, but I think we have to unite, and this is where we start. We have to start with this housing crisis, and we have to stop the foreclosures and stop the evictions, because people can't afford, because we can't have hundreds of thousands of millions of people be cast on the street. And this is where we start, and this is where we must gather, and we must stick together, or else we're just gonna crumble. First it's gonna be the houses, and then we can't have enough, food's gonna cost too much, and then this endless war, and so on and so on, and it just goes down the list until we snap and go loose. This is where we have to start, and the start must be now. We must stop these foreclosures and stop these evictions. These banks, not only do they get billions of dollars, but a lot of them are in court, not only with their stockholders, but with the city of Baltimore, with actual cities, and usually you don't go to court against a big business unless you have a really, really good case. Which if these are crooks, and they are, then these evictions and these foreclosures are illegitimate. So therefore, Sheriff Anderson, you must stop these foreclosures, and you must stop these evictions. And if you do, you will have everyone fully supporting you. And we will continue protesting, and we will continue demonstrating, and so on and so on and so on, until we stop these foreclosures, and we stop the evictions, and we can finally solve this economic crisis. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Maria Allwine. I'm with the Maryland Coalition to Stop the BGE Rate Hikes and the Baltimore Economic Response Network trying to stop these foreclosures. I just want to say that, as Leo said, we're trying to save the world and we're not doing anything to save ourselves. Class war was declared on working and poor people in this country a long time ago, and we have sat still for it. It is past time for those of us who have been victimized by people who have way too much of our nation's collective wealth, who have stolen it for themselves. It's past time for us to stand up and say no more. Sheriff Anderson, we are calling on you to stop all foreclosures and evictions, not just during the holidays. People in this city, around this city, have been preyed on by predatory lenders. It is not their fault. And it is wrong to evict them from their homes. We are asking Sheriff Anderson and all the sheriffs here to stand up and do the courageous and the moral thing and refuse to participate in foreclosures and evictions. It is time for the people of Baltimore to stand up and demand that their public officials stand up for the people who vote for them.
Yeah!
Mayor Sheila Dixon, City Council President Stephanie Rawlings Blake, all the members of the City Council should be standing here with us. They should take a stand and refuse to allow the people, the poor and working people of this city, to be victimized any further. It is past time for us to demand this from our elected officials. The fact that they're not out here is a disgrace. So again, I call on Sheriff Anderson and all the sheriffs in the department here to refuse to participate in any more of these immoral, absolutely immoral foreclosures and evictions.
Thank you, Maria. We're going to end our picket line today, but we're not going to end our struggle. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows some of the important things that are coming up in the future. I understand that Monday there's going to be a special press conference around the utility issue, around the high rates and the utility shutoffs. And I also want to say that every single Monday night at 6:30, there are meetings of the Stop the Foreclosures and Evictions Network at 2011 North Charles Street. Everyone is welcome. You know, these are the planning meetings for our campaign to win a moratorium. I also want to note that there's other actions that are very important. On January 17th, there's going to be a regional East Coast Bail Out the People movement Fight Back conference in New York City. And those of us who are organizing on the ground here in Baltimore are going to be taking transportation to New York City. This conference is going to be marking the 80th birthday of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And then on the 19th, we're urging everybody to be a part of the special march and contingent in the MLK parade here in Baltimore City. There's going to be a special contingent, Stop Foreclosures and Evictions, Jobs or Income Now. And we want to have a very, very big spirited march of all the people to say no to joblessness, no to homelessness, no to utility shutoffs, no to foreclosures and evictions. We need to stand up for people's rights. We need to do what Dr. King did before, and that is get back out in the streets. Thank you.